I know that you were so excited to spend time with your family for the holidays, or are you? We want to talk about a little bit of family drama and how to mitigate disaster. We've got Dr. Karyn Gordon with us right now, our family therapist. It can be a great time. It can also be a time when you're cooped up with folks that you might have issues with, you know, because family is family. You didn't necessarily pick them or choose them.
It could be a little bit of drama.
There could be some drama.
A little bit of drama, yes.
What are the sources of drama that people are a little bit anxious about?
So it's fun. It's literally fun, just kind of like talking with friends, colleagues, people backstage, people in the makeup room, saying, what are the things that kind of come up? All kinds of different things, from like where to spend your holiday, right?
Yes.
December the 25th is at whose house?
Yep.
Can you invite your girlfriend, your boyfriend, the ex? How long to stay? What gifts to buy? How much money actually pushing people to buy? Sleepover, not sleepover? Differences in politics? Woo-hoo! Let's just kind of stir the pot a little bit, right? So differences in politics, differences in religion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know, one of the things that came up in our family a couple years ago is where kids should be eating. So my kids are little, my sister's kids are bigger, and so we had a discussion over should all the kids be eating together or should the kids be actually eating separate. So it can be all kinds of stuff.
It could be anything depending on where you're coming from and what is important to you.
Totally. And that's just from that day.
Yes.
Forget about all the stuff that's happened throughout the other 11 months.
That's right.
Yes. There's lots of topics.
What do we do to cope with this? What are the tips to help carry us through without there being like world war within our families?
Yes. Okay, so few tips. Number one, I like to separate irritants from issues.
Okay.
Okay, and I do find that there are some things that are just irritating, right? Like somebody kind of comments on maybe something you're wearing or some food that you have. Okay, so it's a bit irritating, you let it go.
Right.
So you want to separate what's an irritant, if letting it go, versus an issue. Okay, so like somebody's insulting your parenting, for example, like something that's like a lot bigger. So step number one is just kind of separate the two.
Right. Make a list.
Make a list. Kind of figure out which is it. Is it irritant if it's an issue? For an irritant, we've talked about this before. I like to strategize ahead of time, and I really find one of the best people to strategize with is your spouse or your partner.
Yes.
Right, because they're like the outsider. They're kind of seeing it from a different lens.
If this is when it's your family or when it's his family, or either or.
Either or.
Okay.
Right, either or. And I think it's great to kind of like say, you know what, when so-and-so says this, what do you think I should actually say in advance? Get their take on it.
Yeah.
And I love chatting about this with my husband. He's like, oh, just let it go. Karyn, don't even bother about it. Like, why are you getting all worked up? Right. They just have a different perspective. Which
they
is so,
do.
Yeah.
For the most part, do you agree with the just let it go?
It depends. It depends on it. I like to confront stuff. Like I like to kind of face things head on. So and sometimes Brent's like, you just need to let some things slide. And
I get it. Sometimes you do.
Sometimes you have to kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
But talk to your spouse. Spouses can be a wonderful source of wisdom and counsel for us.
That's right. And they can help you come up with comebacks. They can help. They can support you when you're in that weird situation where all of a sudden you walk through the door and it's like, hey, you gained weight.
Yeah.
Leo, help me.
And remember, this is when you said this. Like get down your little script. Like get all prepared.
That's right.
And then you can look, and then you're working together as a team.
That's right.
Yeah. So talk to your spouse. Okay. So tip number 3 is for issues. So now we're talking about issues, okay? I'm going to throw this out there. Maybe this is that we need to do a whole show on this, but I'm just going to plant the little seed. Okay. For a big issue, I want to ask you the question, is it time to forgive? Because I will tell you, as I work with clients who have lost people, family members over this past year.
Yes.
Like when we hold on to anger, it can turn into bitterness. And it's very unattractive bitterness. Yes. And you know, for anybody who has ever had a conflict in their family, if they have not come to a place of some point of forgiveness, I can almost guarantee you it is one of their greatest sources of regrets. Ugh. So this is an incredible time for us just to kind of pause and just kind of push the reset button. Okay, so you've got to ask yourself, can you get over this? Yes, and just move forward. And can you just move forward? And can we just move forward? People mess up, people make mistakes. Right. Nobody's perfect. We do the best that we can. And sometimes I feel like, yes, I want to confront things, and other times I feel like it's important to say, you know what, I'm just gonna let this one go. Right. And move forward. Sometimes also people are stuck. Like sometimes it's about intention and figuring out where this is coming from. Yes. And when you can recognize that, then convincing yourself that this is not worth being the thing that you split hairs over. I like that advice. Yes, and really ask yourself, was it malicious or was it just because they didn't know any better? Right. I find over 90% of conflicts, people just didn't know any better. Right? So I'm just going to plant that seed. We need to do a whole show on that, but I want to plant that seed. Forgiveness is a big one. Big one. That's a huge one. Yes.
Okay. What else do you have?
Tip number 4 for issues. Are you ready for this one? This is one of my faves.
Yeah.
I call it conscious parking.
What is that?
Okay, conscious parking is a little term that I came up with, and I realized that sometimes we have to deal with conflict, you have to have the right timing. Right? Okay, so the problem is that holiday season is not the right timing. It's too emotionally charged. So I either say to people to face it before, get a mediator, have that face-to-face, or you face it afterward, conscious parking. So you park it.
Yeah.
So you're not avoiding it, you're not being passive-aggressive, you're like, December's not the right time, I'm gonna deal with this in January. But it was funny, I was speaking at a conference and somebody said, but Karyn, what about if I have like a parking lot? There's like a lot of parking going on. We're not talking about a storage unit, okay? We're not talking about a whole bunch of cars there. We're talking about like you're parking it for a time period saying, I know this isn't the right time, so you're consciously parking it with the intention that you're going to bring it up in January.
Okay, and then you got to be accountable to yourself.
And then you got to be accountable, yes.
Yeah, check yourself and make sure you get it done. Focus on playing together is something you say.
Yes, okay, so this is for issues and irritants. This is a good one for both of them. So Harvard's done some great research on what happens when people play. When they laugh, what happens is the chemicals get released in the brain, which actually increases the feelings of happiness, well-being.
Yeah.
So it's really important. So playing is really important, and it's a great thing.
Togetherness and belonging too.
Yes. So get out the board games.
Right.
I know you love games.
I do.
What's your favorite board game?
Oh,
do you have a fave?
What do we? Well, we play a lot of snakes and ladders and Uno at home.
Oh, Uno. We love Uno.
My kids are young, so we play that constantly on repeat, and they play a lot of chess as well.
And chess is great. I love chess. Taboo is one of my favorites.
I love Taboo.
It's loud.
It's loud.
Dutch Blitz.
And my family's loud.
Right. So get out the games and make sure. So it's a wonderful way to kind of pull people actually together, and kind of is distracting, but it's also really good in terms of laughter and for bonding. We want to enjoy our family. Let's try to enjoy our family.
We're a big bonding family, so it's nice when things go well for you during the holidays.